So, a little over 4 years ago, I decided to set myself a challenge. And that challenge was standing on a box for 24 straight hours in a fasted state. Now, bear in mind, I had never done anything like this in my life before. I had never really set some, strange challenge for myself, and I had never been in a fasted state before. So why did I do this? Well, for that, you'd have to go all the way back to when I was a child. No, not that young. Okay, that's better. When I was a child, growing up as a young kid, around 7, 8, 9 years of age, I was a massive fan of magic. I loved it. I fell in love with it straight away. I loved doing tricks for my friends, my family. In the end, I started going onto the streets and doing magic. I was a big fan of David Copperfield. I even went to see him live once at Wembley and see him fly and everything. It was incredible. And then one day I came across a video of a magician called David Blaine. And this video was street magic, and I was hooked. He was doing what I was doing. He was going on the street and he was doing magic to strangers and getting these most incredible reactions. The biggest reason why I loved David Blaine was not so much his magic, which was incredible and I loved it, but because of the challenges that he did. One of the challenges he did, the first one that he did, that I believe that he did, was buried alive, where he just buried himself for, I think, a week, or 10 days, something like that, in a casket with some water over the top, and people could walk past and see him. His other challenge, which really blew my mind, was he stood in a block of ice for 3 days straight. And again, in a fasted state, of course. This was absolutely incredible. Now, whether you believe that he actually did those things or they were illusions or not, was besides the point for a young Ryan. Okay, I was blown away and they stuck in my mind. And I grew up, he did more and more challenges. But one that really stood out for me the most was his Vertigo challenge, which was he stood on this pole about 30 feet up in the air, and he stood there for 36 hours, and then he would jump off into these cardboard boxes. And the reason why it stood out for me the most is just standing in one place and watching the world go by. That sort of resonated with me strongly. I didn't know what it was as a kid back then. I didn't really quite understand it, but just stopping and watching everybody. I always was a bit of a people watcher, and I enjoyed that, and something about that I just really admired that, and it lit a spark in me. And I remember as a kid watching that program, and he set a challenge, like try and stand in this one spot for the whole hour of this program. It's actually something very difficult to do, and as a young kid, I didn't make it. I think I made like 10 minutes and got bored. So anyway, fast forward to, so it was 4 years ago now, so I was like 29, and I was, wanting to challenge myself. I was having these, visions of climbing mountains and rowing oceans, etc. And I realized kind of impossible for me to do right now. What could I do in this moment that would be a great challenge? And I remember watching the adverts on English TV, and they were showing, a lot of the adverts were showing this campaign that they would do every year called Stand Up for Cancer. Okay, and then it just clicked for me. What if you literally stand up for cancer? And I remember the David Blaine challenge of the Vertigo. Hey, maybe I could do that. I could literally stand in one place and try and raise money and for charity for cancer, etc. So that's what I did. I literally called it literally standing up to cancer. And the challenge was 24 hours. It was in the town that I live, opposite my wife's father's pub. So we did it there, so we had some support there. And yeah, went 24 straight hours standing on a box in a fasted state. Now, I remember during that Vertigo program, watching the program, and during it, they interviewed a bunch of the passers-by and the spectators as to what they thought of it. And a lot of them gave some, very bog standard answers, etc. But there was one guy that gave a really intriguing response, and it was relating to what I said about standing still and watching the world go by. Here's what he said.
I think one of the most profound things you could do in Midtown Manhattan is stand still. let alone for any length of time. You know, to stand still for hours upon hours, a day and a half, in fact. This is a profound gesture for New York right now. This is a place obsessed with getting from point A to point B, and there's so much happening between point A and point B. But you can only really notice all that's going on between point A and point B if you stand still.
So I thought that was a really great response. And I think that's probably what ignited that in me, you know, that just standing still, watching the world go by, noticing what's happening. You know, when you're in a busy place, like I was going to do it in the middle of my town, or technically it's a city, and it's on the go all the time. People are trying to go A to B, they've always got something to do, and just stopping and ask yourself that question: when was the last time you just stopped and watched the world go by? And for how long did you do it? Did you do it for 10 minutes? Did you do it for an hour? A couple of hours? And if you think back, and as adults, we're so busy, there's something to do, and especially I'm a parent now, my life's even more busy, and you've got more responsibility, you know, if you own businesses, etc. The last time you can really just stop, and I don't mean stop like sit down and watch TV, relax. I mean literally just stop somewhere in a busy place and watch the world go by. When's the last time you did that? So with the clips of the event, back then there was no desire to really film it and make a whole day of it or anything, a video of it. So what we did, we just streamed it online on our laptops to go onto Facebook, to go onto Instagram. And those, I never really saved those. They're just on my Facebook account. So I couldn't download them or anything like that. So what I've had to do is I've had to film it from another phone, play it on my phone via Facebook, and film it on another phone, then put it into a file. The quality is horrific. You can't see me very clearly and make out that it's me, but it is me. I hope you can tell that it is me, and it's my wife in a lot of these clips, but I'm standing there on the box. The quality is so bad because, like we said, it was a live stream on a laptop via Facebook and Instagram. Hopefully you can make it out. If you can see now on the screen the clips. I'm standing there during the day. There's people coming up to me, and then we go through into the night, all the way through the night clips. A little bit harder to make myself out now, but it was great. You see people coming up to me here in the clips, and this was constant. You know, it was very rarely an extended period of time where people weren't coming up and asking questions and giving me support. Many people they'd go, you know, and they'd come back on their walk and they'd give me more support. Many of my students, ex-students and older friends came to support me, which was amazing. And you can see here on the clip some of that. So how did the challenge go? Well, I completed it. I did the full 24 hours. There were some hairy moments in there. A couple of moments I felt like, especially not fasting before my glucose got pretty low, I thought I was going to pass out a couple of times, which are tricky. But I did manage to complete it. Physically, it wasn't as demanding as I expected. Now, to give you a brief on this, like I did only one night of preparation for this. I did one night on my balcony, and I stood out there for something like 5 hours just to get a feel of what it was standing in one spot for an extended period of time. Now, that 5 hours up to then was the longest I'd ever stood in one spot. And I did it out on my balcony from something like 10 at night till 3 in the morning. Very, very boring. And I thought, oh, this is going to be long, this is going to be difficult, it's going to be incredibly boring. But the difference was on the challenge, because I did it just on a small box. I wasn't 30 feet up in the air like David Blaine was on his Vertigo challenge. So the difference was I was just on this box, and people could talk to me. They walked by and talked to me. I either had my wife with me, my brother-in-law, my mother-in-law. So there was always people to talk with. We gained a lot of interest. A lot of people walking by, asking what I was doing, why I was doing it, giving support, which was fantastic. Getting to know me. So my mind was always engaged, which made it, admittedly made it easier. If I was like, high up enough where I couldn't engage with anyone, that would have made it more difficult. But at the same time, engaging with people was a great thing. We wanted to raise awareness. Biggest thing we wanted to raise awareness was the prevention of cancer. Prevention is greater than cure, and that living a healthy lifestyle, eating healthy food, exercising regularly is going to help prevent cancer massively. Of course, disclaimer, you could never, I don't think you can always prevent a disease. Sometimes you can take all the preventative measures you can and you'll get sick. But in this regard, in most cases, that's not going to be the case. So it was great to talk to people. And also that was a challenge for myself as well, actually. I'm socially not that confident. And so standing there, people talking to me, eyes on me, the focus is on me, center of attention, etc. That was another part of the challenge for me, which was great to overcome. But physically, yeah, my back got tired, my legs were a bit heavy and stuff, but it wasn't too crazy. Now, my job is a tennis coach. I'm on my feet 6, 7, 8, sometimes 9 hours a day, just constantly on my feet, never sitting down. So I was used to being on my feet. But it was such a beautiful challenge to do. Like, I absolutely loved it. It was fascinating for me to be able to stop and watch the world wake up. We started at about 9 in the morning, finished 9 the next morning, and see the day progress and see how humans progress with the day. So the energy of the day, it starts great slow, people slowly wake up, and more energy gains as the middle of the day comes, and then it's hustle and bustle, of midday, and then the night time comes and it gets so quiet. It never completely dies, There was always something going on. There was always some people around, people out on nights out. Had a lot of people, some friends stay with me throughout the night, which was fantastic. It was great support. And I witnessed my first ever sunrise actually on this challenge, which was incredible. And you'll see here on the video that clip.
Okay, so we're live here, 6:20.
Most incredible sunrise. We have these amazing supporters here.
We're watching the sunrise.
Yeah, it's incredible.
An amazing moment.
It's rained also.
All the lights are out of the town.
I pee in there, that's it. I didn't want to, Mom. I couldn't do it when he's standing out here. He didn't go in there either.
Pretty amazing moment.
He's not that cold, is he?
Certainly one of the highlights of life so far.
3 till 5 is very cold.
So that was a beautiful moment, witnessing my first ever sunrise during this challenge, having the support of my friends there. It was really fantastic. A real highlight for me. And just seeing going through the night, and seeing the change, seeing the energy, and then everyone waking up again, getting busier again in the morning. We had a television, one of the news crews come down and interview me during the challenge, which was nice. I got more eyeballs on, and then people came, they watched the news report, and then they came down. Some people traveled from Nicosia to come down and give me support, which was amazing. We raised a lot of money. I think we raised, for over the 24 hours just there, we raised something like nearly €1,000, which was great. And yeah, just the whole challenge was just really beautiful, and to push yourself. One thing that really stood out for me was when you put your mind to something, like the adrenaline that you have. So you think, I'm standing in one spot, I don't have that much adrenaline, right? But the focus that I had became super apparent when the moment I stepped off the box, the moment I finished the challenge. It was absolutely crazy to me, because I felt okay. Gone through the night. I'd never slept I'd gone that long without sleep or without food, and of course standing in one space. And then the very second I finished the challenge and I sat down on the box and to celebrate, boom, it was like someone switched a switch off, and all my energy, I was completely and utterly drained. It was the most crazy thing. It was literally like someone's flipped a switch and that was it. All my energy had gone and I was absolutely exhausted. And that made me realize, wow, the amount of focus that I had on there, I had to really stay focused all the time, determined, and had that adrenaline to just stay awake and stay standing. And that sort of blew my mind, really. And I remember we stayed up. I tried to stay up as long as possible for the rest of the day. I think I went to bed at like 5 or 6 in the afternoon, and I slept the best night's sleep of my life. I slept 16 straight hours. Didn't wake up once. It was the most amazing sleep of my life. But it took me about a week to feel normal again. It took me a week for my body to loosen up again. I felt quite tight at the end of it, but to catch up and feel normal again. I was really out of it mentally, psychologically for a few more days. I actually went back to work. The day after I woke up, I had to go back to work and do a full day's work coaching. And I was out of it. I was really knackered. And it was a great thing, after that I was, researching and coming up with ideas for other challenges, but didn't get around to it until my first son came in, but I'm definitely going to do some more challenges. I've got some other ideas here. Living in Cyprus, I would love to be the first guy to swim around the island. That'd be awesome, but that's a few years away, I think. I absolutely love the challenge. It was a very spiritual challenge. Of course, any challenge like that is a spiritual process. We understand a lot more about yourself and what you're capable of. But mostly it was about people. Watching from a distance, stopping, take time out to stop, watch, observe, and also to interact with people. People were incredibly kind. Some of the reactions, people walk by like looking, and they read the board. We had the information there on the board what we're doing, and they just look and think it was stupid or be laughing. But it was mostly, I would say 95%, it was super positive. There was one dodgy moment. There was a group of guys that were hovering around. We filmed the whole thing on our laptop and we were streaming. So I was just streaming. I had no desire to make a video out of this or anything like that. So we just streamed it on my laptop live through to my Facebook, through on Instagram, etc., for all the friends and connections for people to watch, and just to make sure it was legitimate. But so we had this laptop on the side of the road. It was plugged up and everything, and we had these people and they were eyeing up the equipment. And it started off with 2 people, and then they were on the phone and they were looking at the equipment, and they got on the phone, and then the next thing it was 5, 6, 7 of them. They're hovering around. We had a money box on the floor, and what we thought, they were going to pretend to put money on the floor and then we're going to take the money. In the end, they were hovering, they were going back and forth, and I really thought at this stage, oh shit, they're going to take the money, or they're going to take the equipment and they're going to run, and that's going to be the end of the challenge. So I got a couple of my friends to come out from the pub across the road, my wife's father's place, a couple of big guys, and that sort of scared them off a little bit. And then they left. So that was the only hairy moment between anyone interacting with us. Otherwise, it was super positive, and to see that response and to get to people ask so many questions and want to get to know me and why I was doing it, I get to explain it. It was great. It was a great thing, and I took a lot away from that challenge, and about myself and about human nature, and we should try and do more of that. We should try and challenge ourselves and push ourselves and go beyond our current limits from time to time. Do something strange, be the weirdo, make yourself uncomfortable. And if you can do it and raise awareness and do it for a great cause, even better. You don't have to do something crazy like stand on a box for 24 hours in the middle of your town. It could be something simple, right? Go out for a extra long run, or climb the local hill, the local mountain, or whatever it is. whatever it is, we should challenge ourselves more, and you learn a lot about yourself doing that. And it will give you, it filled me with a lot of confidence. I didn't know what, you know, it just gave a lot of confidence. Like, yeah, if I really put my mind to something, you turn that switch on, you really can, you know, you can go far. Maybe not, you know, that cliche, you can do anything, but you can definitely, you know, get started and build yourself up to something greater. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope maybe it's inspired you to challenge yourself, to set yourself a challenge, and hey, maybe you want to go and try and stand on box yourself and beat my 24 hours. That'd be amazing. If anything, you think of anything along those lines, let me know, message me what you think. Yeah, guys, get out there, challenge yourselves, you know. And also, every now and then, stop. Stop. You don't need to get to A to B so quick. Stop, look around, watch the world go by, take it all in, be more mindful, be more present. That was something that, you know, it's one of the most mindful 24 straight hours of my life. I feel like I can remember so much of it. It was a beautiful day. So I hope you enjoyed the video, hope it inspires you. Drop me a like, subscribe, that'd be great. Join me for the next video.